Hi. So how was your weekend? Mine was fun. So listen, the last few days have been absolutely insane. Either you're like me and you're away working one of the biggest events of your life, or you are witnessing history like literally everyone as it occurs in real time and in a textbook some 14-year-old is listening to in the future, or you see something you've seen all too many times that infuriates you at a level you can't possibly describe. So we're going to talk about all of it. We're going to talk about the news from this weekend that everybody is talking about and what this means for this year. We're going to talk about the body cam footage that's circulating all over the internet. And lastly, we're going to talk about EVO and the music project, and I'll tell you about where I've been all this time. All right, cool, great. Let's start with Biden dropping out and Kamala Harris. On Sunday morning at 11 a.m., an hour after I would have posted a freestyle of the news that would have been rendered irrelevant by the following outcome, Joe Biden posted a letter declaring that he is dropping out of the presidential race. He was not going to accept his party's nomination for president. Soon after, he also tweeted that he is endorsing Kamala Harris, his vice president, as the new Democratic nominee, or for the Democratic nomination, whatever kind of verbiage you want to use. Obviously, we have been talking about this for months now at this point, since the debate. And it became all the more solidified after the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, when Biden had seemingly fended off all attackers until more senators, more House members, more huge, large looming Democratic figures came out and asked Biden to step down against the nomination. And through the steady drip of leaks to betting markets, to bad polling, to the opinions of people like Obama and Nancy Pelosi, it all seemed like an inevitability until it actually happened on Sunday. Then it seemed shocking because honestly, if you've watched the show over the last few weeks, I've said it seems more and more likely that that is going to be the outcome. But honestly, it happened much more abruptly than I thought it would. It was way more emphatic than I thought it would be. And I honestly thought they would have waited till Monday because I was watching EVO finals and seeing all of our songs go up and going like, oh no, we have to compete with this now. But yeah, Biden officially said he was going to drop out of the running for the 2024 election, use that time to finish his term strong, endorsed Kamala Harris. Soon after that, Kamala put out a statement of her own saying that she would run and earn her nomination, praising Joe Biden for taking this extraordinary step and saying that his legacy has been secured, to which multiple Democratic lawmakers and officials all responded by endorsing Kamala Harris right on the spot, including some people who had been floated to run against her if it was an open primary. Pete Buttigieg, Gretchen Whitmer, Hillary Clinton, fucking Andrew Yang endorsed Kamala Harris. And by Monday afternoon, Kamala had actually secured enough delegates to be the presumptive Democratic nominee, or whatever you want to call it in this case. Now, there's been a wide amount of reactions to all of this news. Obviously, we have been talking about this for multiple episodes over multiple weeks. I have tried to stay nuanced. I've given you the pros and cons of Kamala jumping on the ticket. I've given you the pros and cons of Biden staying on the ticket. I've given you the pros and cons of eating a sandwich when you've already had another sandwich. First off, the second sandwich is great, but do you really need to eat that much right now? I say yes sometimes, but again, you know what? Just take a, but literally, I've stayed away from stating out and out what my opinion is, even though some comments just assume what it is. And some of you may have guessed, but I'll tell you directly what it is right now. I honestly think Joe Biden dropping out of the race was probably the best decision if they would have played it right. And to be honest, they have played it the best possible way they could play it. Let me explain why. Let's start with the Republican reaction. Absolute panic. First off, the writing is on the wall. This is going to be the headline news story for the next 6 weeks. The polling will dramatically change because obviously a candidate is going from a possibility to a reality. It obviously placates a lot of people who felt that Joe Biden was old and they were not being listened to. We will get back to that in a second. And thirdly, most of the opposition research on Kamala Harris has not been thorough enough. There's a few memos going around of talking points, and they aren't really very strong. They clearly did not think this was going to happen, and clearly had a very different strategy set up, as exemplified by J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is a pick that's meant to shore out MAGA-based enthusiasm. He actually ended his convention with a -6 bounce, which is like the lowest bounce a VP candidate has had in favorability since 1980. But all that to say, Democrats control the ball right now. And listen, the attacks they have made have been something along the lines of, oh, you're ignoring the will of the Democratic voters and the 14 million voters who wanted to vote for Joe Biden. They started a conspiracy theory saying that, is Joe Biden dead? We don't know. Maybe he's dead. The John Adams strategy, which it's not the 1780s, motherfucker. Trump even trying out nicknames that aren't really hitting, like Laughin' Kamala Harris, which, you know, again, a lot of people have made fun of that. I'm just telling you, like, it just in general is not a strong enough name to really be a pejorative for somebody. So the Republican response hasn't been great. The legal threats aren't even that strong either, as explained by this Legal Eagle video I'm going to link in the bottom below. Secondly, the response from more leftist and more progressive voices who were incredibly critical of Biden has been drastically different as well. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Kamala was a prosecutor, right? She's been considered a cop by many people. She doesn't have a spotless record, but she does have a lot more progressive-leaning policies. For example, on Gaza, Benjamin Netanyahu was visiting to address Congress. Kamala very specifically said that she is not attending the address, said that she would speak to Netanyahu outside of his meeting with Biden and say, hey, listen, you need to end this war right now. You need to give Palestinians and the Gaza citizens dignity that they deserve and stop bombing them incessantly. I'm paraphrasing right here. But essentially, she was going to press him. Because notably, Harris has been much more vocal about a ceasefire, more so than Biden has. That and other issues have created a groundswell for Harris from the left side of the political spectrum. Not to mention the fact that this is the biggest, hey, we get it. All right, you guys, you have a point, he's old, that we've ever seen. It is a validation of what everybody's been saying for a while. This dude is out of touch. And even at a rally today in Milwaukee, Harris showed quite a bit of difference from the candidate she was back when she started running for the 2020 election.
I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
And honestly, just by, existence, fresh. She seemed fresh because she's not fucking 80 years old. And so you had a huge number of progressives also endorse Harris. You also had a number of people who are living off of the influencer pipeline, who usually try to criticize candidates and bring up bullshit, getting talked the fuck down for talking shit. I'm not kidding. I've seen about 4 or 5 different normal accounts I see advocating for people to disengage from politics, saying the same old shit that you always hear, right? Get shouted down by other progressives for like, what the fuck are you doing right now? And obviously, if you're not like super enthusiastic about Harris, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about specifically influencers who are grifters and try to do this for clicks and everything like that. They kind of got exposed over the last few days. And all of this has led to Harris having some really strong polls that have come out. A latest Reuters Ipsos poll came out with her leading Donald Trump by 2 points. There's only been a couple polls since Biden announced he was dropping out. So that's one of the ones that was priced in. But that's going to bring up my whole major point, right? We have been living in this election not since January. We've been living it since August of last year. Everybody knew what this was going to be. It was going to be Biden versus Trump 2. The only reason you heard anything about Nikki Haley or any other candidates was because, please don't fucking do this. That's what it was the whole time. People were frustrated at their choices. People were angry at their choices. Constantly, you heard every side of the political spectrum being like, why are these the people we're voting for? Being shouted down constantly, like, no, you're not seeing what you're seeing, all of that. And bad polling came out, bad debates came out. People said crazy shit. It was exhausting. Here is one of the biggest shakeups in political history that also acknowledges a very real thing that is happening and takes a step back and tells people who were concerned, hey, by the way, you were right. I'm sorry. It's an apology. And the nomination of Harris and everybody shifting and trying to not make this some protracted bullshit fight is the best way to signal to every Democratic voter who was concerned over the last 2 months, who had their eyes glued to this, hey, We're taking this seriously. And so now you have a large amount of energy in this narrative. Politics is run by marketing. It's run by the appearance of things. It's very similar to how you promote an album or a movie or whatever you want to do. And this is one of those instances where you get every single option imaginable. Now listen, that doesn't mean this couldn't have fucked up. There is a reality in the multiverse where this is bad, where this is handled in the messiest way possible, where not all the Democrats come out and show support for each other, right? Where the opportunity becomes more of an ego trip than a act of service. This was exactly what you had to do by the book to make this thing work for you. Now, we're not at the Democratic National Convention yet. We're not even at the election yet. Donald Trump hasn't even agreed to debate Kamala yet. But of the two options they had, they chose the riskier one and they did it in the safest way possible, which got them net benefits. Huge net benefits. That doesn't mean this campaign is going to get easier. That doesn't mean it's going to get super fucking ugly. You're probably going to see a lot of the same attacks that feel like, oh my God, are they calling Obama a Kenyan again? Them calling her the DEI candidate is we know what you're saying, guys. But again, when you see that first political rally with the Beyonce song Freedom playing behind her, with her making those points effectively, with her just joking around and having a good time and absorbing it in. This is somebody who knows how to use political messaging effectively. This is a campaign that is confident in its choices and that isn't fucking around. And honestly, it's about fucking time. Crazy fucking weekend. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have problems with Kamala Harris or issues with her, I am not giving them a pass or saying that you don't have a right to have those issues. I'm just talking about the political ramifications of everything, right? Politicians are politicians. I don't really trust any of them. They're made to tell you things to get into office. You trust and distrust different parts of their personas, right? And then make an informed decision. But let me know what you think in the comments. We have been working on the EVO 2024 album for 6 months, and it has been a large, challenging process because there's so much involved, and we're really trying to make it the best possible thing it could be. And I have to give a shout out to one of the best assists I had in doing that right at the finish line, and a sponsor of today's show, Magic Spoon. I said this in the last episode and it bears repeating. Magic Spoon has been my go-to snack over the last couple of weeks during late night sessions, during early mornings. I just like having cereal almost any time of the day. If you don't know what Magic Spoon is, you probably have seen it in your local grocery store or like a Target. They're those bright, colorful boxes that have that 90s nostalgia of watching Saturday morning cartoons on them. But what it is a simple grain-free cereal with no sugar that tastes really good. I'm not kidding. When I got the latest variety pack, I pulled out the frosted flavor and it's gone. And my girlfriend didn't get to try any of it. Good. No, but really the variety pack has made me a big fan. The cocoa flavor, which kind of tastes like Cocoa Pebbles a little bit, and the peanut butter flavor, which goes amazing with yogurt. And because I haven't been able to go to the gym because I've been working literally like all day, every day these last couple weeks, I got to stay healthy. And the best part is Magic Spoon contains 13 to 14 grams of protein. So it's great for balancing your diet. If you're on keto, it's amazing for that. And not just for the health kick, it's great for people who are diabetic like my mom. And if you want to try one of those Magic Spoon variety packs, you can scan the QR code, or you can go to the link in my description and enter in the code Zaid and get $5 off a variety pack today. $5 off for delicious cereal that you can have any time and watch Batman Beyond? Because Batman Beyond is goated. It's goated. Don't argue with me. But I am not kidding. I am a fan of Magic Spoon. I bought them from Target. I love the variety packs whenever they come to our door. My cats love the boxes. I don't know if that influences your decision, but if you have cats and need a nice box for them to try out, the box, they're a hit. They're great boxes for cats to hide in. So listen, if you want a simple grain-free option for cereal, if you're looking for a late night snack that's going to help you through some of the toughest job days you're going to have, and if you want to support my cool little news show thing, pick up a variety pack of Magic Spoon, scan the QR code, link in the description, enter in my name as the code, and get your boost today. All right, back to Zaid Talks. So I want to talk a little bit about the Sonya Massey Bodycam footage, right? If you haven't seen already all over social media, there's footage circulating of this woman named Sonya Massey who called 911, and two officers, one of them being Sean Grayson, came over to her place. She thought that somebody was trying to break into her house, like a prowler or something, right? She has been confirmed to have had paranoid schizophrenia. And just so people know, schizophrenia isn't like in A Beautiful Mind or a lot of those other movies that you see, right? It's a very mental illness, you know, that a lot of people experience. I have a friend who I knew growing up through college and everything like that, who got diagnosed with schizophrenia over the last few years. He can still have conversations, and you know, whenever we hang out, it's been usually pretty okay. But there are also other lists of problems that he goes through. So don't stereotype it. It's a very different disease than you may think it is. But yeah, it is a mental health issue, and she was answering some questions kind of, you know, awkwardly, but the conversation was just in general calm. So Grayson and the other officer are in her place. The other officer has the body cam footage going. Grayson notices a pot of hot water on the stove and says, oh, he doesn't want to start a fire in here. Sonya goes to turn off that pot of hot water, to which this fucking idiot goes,
Where you going?
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I would rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Huh?
Rebuke you in the name of
You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you right in your fucking face.
Massey then tries to say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. This fucking asshole pulls his gun, says, drop the pot. Massey's like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. He steps forward, fires 3 shots, one hits her in the head, and she dies. And when the other officer asks about trying to get her help, this guy's like, nah, dude, it's a headshot. You can get it if you want, but it's over. Then this asshole goes outside and is like telling everybody like, oh man, she's a crazy bitch. I thought she was going to throw fucking hot water on me. If you watch the footage, bro, what? Also, this dumb motherfucker, Officer Grayson, didn't have his fucking body cam on. He didn't have it on at all. The other officer was the one who had it on. And thank God, because initially it was reported that the wound was self-inflicted. Like multiple times, they reported, oh no, it was a self-inflicted wound. They even told her father that like a prowler had broke in and took her out, which is some nefarious ass shit. And don't take my word for it. Take the police department's word for it, because they reviewed it and said, hey, Grayson is 100% out of his fucking gourd, because they said even the way Grayson stepped in to the dangerous situation was fucked up. The shooting should have never happened. They fired him, and now he's been charged with murder. Everybody is shocked. I don't see anybody defending it, although I'm so sure some idiot will put on their tinfoil hat and figure something out. But what I was struck by is how desensitized I was to the shooting and more shocked by the cover-up, when I should have been shocked by both. And it's because the shooting, I'm like, oh yeah, that could happen. Why? That troubles me about myself, to feel like I think that's like a normal, like, oh, of course that would happen with a police officer entering your house. I don't think it's an insane thing to say if you are somebody with a gun who is hired to uphold the law in some situation and you are called to a home. If you walk into this situation, you think that lady from that far away is going to throw that big ass pot of water at you, and so you shoot her in the fucking head? Like, from all of the information you've gleaned thus far into this interaction. And then you go around trying to say like, oh, she's a crazy bitch. She's crazy. That sort of temperament is not the temperament I would expect of somebody who resolves conflicts and keeps people safe. And if everybody's tax dollars are going so that you uphold the law, I mean, I think I'm out in the Shark Tank investment thing there, guys. All of this is stuff you've heard before, and I'm kind of upset that it is, because I would like to have stories like this when they pop up be shocks and like what the fuck is going on and kind of reshaping how you think, rather than oh yeah, because that means things are really fucked up. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Last but not least, let's talk about where I was this last weekend. For the last 6 months, I have been working on an album for EVO. If you don't know what EVO is, it is the biggest fighting game tournament in the world, and I am the music director of it. Back in 2022, they asked me to come back and redo the EVO theme song, which I'd done a long time ago. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do these music intros for every game. So when the finals of the top 8 players or top 6 players are playing, they're going to play this music intro right before to hype up the crowd, and then they get to play. And the music's different genres. It's really well produced. It's this big, like, oh my God, how the hell did you do that kind of crazy spectacle? And I pull a lot of strings and get a lot of really big names on there to do really cool songs. And in 2022, it was a huge success. It almost got canceled, but it was a huge success. In 2023, it was enormous. Like, last year was one of the biggest music things I've ever released in my life, with the release of Run Back City and Impact, the album. And so this year, was fucking terrifying because I gotta live up to that. And so I've been working on this album constantly. You've seen me tired on like the last few episodes. I'm not joking. Like I got maybe 3 hours of sleep a night for like the last 2 weeks, guys. It's not been fun. Every day trying to record new things, re-record. We had multiple people have to drop out of the project. We had like 5 people who came in and left. We had to redo an entire song in about like, honestly, like 3 or 4 hours because somebody dropped like, oh, video, we have to do this now or video's fucked. We wanted this project done in April. We submitted the final album the day before EVO. That's so bad. Yeah, the final album was submitted the day before EVO. And honestly, guys, like it was a hell of a sprint. All of our ears were dead. We had no idea what was going to go on. We were very nervous. We believed in all the work that we had done. We got some really amazing, talented musicians on this thing. But, you know, ultimately, the song started playing. We started with a K-pop song for King of Fighters 15, and it fucking worked. What was crazy to me is like this year, people were like ready for the music as opposed to the other years. Like we wanted that established, but man, it was established this year. People were tuning into these intros, and I was shocked that they were getting. Yeah, they did really well. We had amazing reception on every single song. Probably one of the most surprising was Street Fighter 3. We brought back the original announcer from Street Fighter 3 Infinite to rap on the song. And everybody was so hyped to see that game that as soon as they saw the title of the song, which is, the song is actually a remix of one of the old themes from Street Fighter 3, NYC Jazzy 99. And as soon as they saw NYC Jazzy 24 on screen, you could just hear everybody go, holy shit. And the entire room went ballistic when that sax played, like, bana, bana, bana. It was just amazing to see and be a part of. And the weekend itself was insane. I do want to also say that the weekend itself, if you were enjoying the first 2 days, you should know how hard everybody was working. Because when I got there, I thought, man, I'm so fucking behind. We're screwed. I don't know what we're going to do. I hope we did okay. And everybody I met was like, yeah, dude, we're all running on fumes right now. Nobody who was just attending EVO was anyone the wiser. Everybody seemed more enthusiastic, having the best time of their life. The matches were incredible. That was just pure skill from everybody trying to keep up everything together in this brand new venue we'd never been at. And it was going really well. The last day, there was this huge controversy, though. There were other issues that were going on with the arena that I'm not allowed, because I had to sign a contract this year, I'm not allowed to talk about. So I'm not going to talk about them, but I will say that Rick Thayer, the person who heads EVO, heard everybody's complaints, was very upset, and did literally everything in his power to try to help people. It was frustrating to the staff involved as well. I know how hard they were working. I know they were trying to figure out things. They were also going through a lot. Rick issued an apology today and ownership. And if you don't know who Rick is, like Philip DeFranco, Rick is like the other person who I look up to quite a bit. He's one of the nicest people ever, an incredible boss, if I would call him a boss. I don't even know if I can call him a boss because he treats everybody like a colleague, like a collaborator, even when he's paying them. EVO has a lot of big corporate sponsors and everything like that. And Rick, who runs the ship, makes it a point to put humanity over business when it's important. He's done it for me multiple times. He's done it for so many other people I know. The only reason we have this project is because he put his job on the line for my music project. I owe that dude so much. Now, that controversy was heartbreaking, but I will say some of the finals matches were absolutely incredible and inspiring. Probably the one I want to talk about the most is Punk. If you don't know who Punk is, he is an incredibly gifted pro player who talks a lot of shit. He's been one of the best Street Fighter players in the world for a while. And a number of years back, he lost in the finals and ended up sobbing uncontrollably, feeling like he'd let America down. If you don't know, America has not really won a Street Fighter title for like 28 years for like a major Street Fighter game at EVO. Like, it just hasn't happened. We've always gotten like second place, but we can't ever crack it. And this was the first time Punk had that chance. And honestly, if you watch the finals, it felt like he was slipping away. Punk had played some of the best Street Fighter I've ever seen anyone play. And Big Bird, who he was facing, is an insanely talented player playing Rashid, a very scary, tricky character. So if you don't know EVO's double elimination, you have to lose twice to be knocked out of the tournament. You lose once, you go into the loser's bracket, you lose again, you're done. The finals of the entire tournament is called grand finals, where the winner of the winner's bracket and the loser of the loser's bracket face each other. If the loser's bracket guy beats the winner's bracket guy, the winner's bracket guy is knocked into losers and they play one more set. And whoever wins that wins the tournament. Punk lost the first set. So everyone's like, oh, fuck, what's going to happen? And it was close. It really felt like Big Bird had Punk's number, but it all came to a head. Last game, last round, Big Bird starts off the match. Punk loses 60% of his health. Honestly, in situations like this, it just feels like it's impossible to come back. This guy is working with the entire weight of like, oh my God, like, you know, I'm going to be another American who loses on his shoulders. He's working with one of the trickiest characters who, when he gets a lead, it's very hard to take that lead away. But in one of the most brilliant moves, Punk just jumps. Just does a raw jumping at him, and it hits. Within 2 combos, Punk has tied up the score. It's 60% to 60%, and it just takes one combo, and Punk, putting on the pressure, finally hits with a low forward, goes in, and it's over.
Punk,
One more hit
will do it. Big Bird gets hit low, and there it is. Punk gets his retribution, his revenge. He is your Street Fighter 6 EVO champion.
And immediately bursts into tears. How could you not? This has been a story that's been going on with this guy for so many years where he failed everyone. And now, years later, he comes back as this much more mature competitor, even though he still talks shit, much more sure of himself. All of this weight and pressure and identity on his shoulders, and losing the match, and clutches it out and takes it. And he's the first EVO champion in 28 years from the United States for a major Street Fighter title. What an incredible story. Also in Third Strike, you had another amazing parry moment. All around, it was one of the best tournaments that I've ever been to, and such an inspiring, incredible weekend. I was so glad that people reacted to our songs that way. No More Quarters was kind of like our sequel to Run Back City, and I was so scared about whether that would play well, and it did. By the way, if you want to see all of those intros that we did, we have them linked in the description below. But yeah, man, this album was really special to me because it was about growth. I wanted to do an album about the FGC moving on from the arcade era because we've lived there so much, and now we are in like a new era. We're growing up. We're going through these hard things where the games that we love are changing in ways we don't want them to, but at times, like, we embrace, and it's very weird. The people are what make these games what they are, right? Like, I love going there and watching the competition and these cool looking characters throw fireballs and shit at each other. But I love the personality of the people playing and watching that reflected on screen. I love sitting next to somebody, plugging in my controller and then being like, hey, where you from? Oh, dude, I'm from Seattle. I can't wait to try this. A couple people came up and took pictures and recognized me from Philly D and other things like that. I got to sign a couple shirts. That's all cool and dandy. I just like meeting people and sharing the love there because it doesn't feel like anybody's really separated. We're all just community at that point. And that's one of my favorite things. And listen, my foot was hurting the entire time. I had blisters all over my feet. I was getting over an ankle injury, so it was hard for me to walk the entire venue. It was insanely hot in Vegas. And I am going to go back to EVO next year. I love it. I love doing this job. I love making music. I missed you guys the whole time. But yeah, it's something that I love to do. And I really encourage you to check out the album. I think it's one of the best we've ever done. It's doing really well right now. Could always do better. And I always want more love. But yeah, I want to talk a little bit about EVO and where I was at and how that felt. It was one of the best weekends always one of the best weekends of my life every year. If you went to EVO, let me know what you think in the comments. If you heard the album, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you haven't, go listen to it now. It's fun. But anyway, that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will be back on Sunday with Freestyle the News. Have you missed me? Anyway, my name is Tabani. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, and I will see y'all soon. Let's go. My voice isn't back.